Here is a true story for you. It happened in late March of 2022, last year, soon after Russia attacked Ukraine and started killing Ukrainians. There was a lady, and she happened to work for the government of Moscow. She had a high-paying job, position up in the ranks with many people underneath her. She was making good money. The job was interesting. Dream job in Russia, really. One day in March, not too long after the start of the war, her supervisor or superior came and asked to sign a letter supporting SVO. That's how the war was called in Russia back then. The lady was decent, a good human being, and she was full of anger at Russia's actions in Ukraine, and she firmly said no. The superior left. A couple weeks later, superior came back asking to sign another paper in support of SVO. That would be published on Moscow government's website. And the lady became furious. She replied, "I do my job well and will continue to do so. But you just leave me alone and don't ask me to publicly support this BS and, don't ask me to sign anything. I do not support the war and I will not sign anything." The superior said, "You know what? I don't care how you feel about this thing." And again, everyone hesitated to call it war back then. "I don't care how you feel inside about this thing, but you work for the government and you get paid by the government. In order to keep the job, to continue getting paid, you must buy this right with your loyalty. Signing the papers would be enough. We will make sure that what you sign gets publicly announced, gets public exposure, and don't forget to post it on your social media accounts." How do I know the story? Well, I met the lady. She quit her job after that conversation and moved away from Russia. She left Russia most likely for good. And since October of 2022, she's been a member of Tashkent International Breakfast Club. She did not sell out. She did not show her loyalty. And she paid the price. She lost nearly everything she had, but she saved her soul. Unfortunately, in Russia, she is a minority. Howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin. Welcome to Inside Russia, where I give you important news updates that explain what's truly happening inside Russia right now. What you will not find on this channel is propaganda, BS, and lies. What you will find is truth, common sense, and logic, and emotions, because I am a human being after all. Inside Russia is where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian. For the first 30 or so minutes, I give you my daily message, and after I invite everyone to continue to live stream chat, to converse. I really like when people talk, ask me questions, and perhaps even give words of support. Thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you for giving me another chance. You know, people in Russia have been divided into two camps. The active minority, that camp started protesting the war right away on the very first day, on February 24th, 2022. Most of this minority, their lives have changed to the worse. A lot of them lost their jobs. If they worked for the government, they were forced to quit or they were fired. Lots of people have been criticized and threatened by the Russian government. Some of them were made enemies of Russian government. And these people have been ostracized by many Russians, including colleagues, friends, even some family members. Yes, I have seen that happening too. The good Russians, they are. The ones who think critically with brains in their heads. Many of them left Russia at the end, Seems like those people have lost the battle. They have not been loyal to the government and they did not show their support. Their position is well understood by me. I've been meeting people like that in Tashkent for nearly 7 months now, and let me tell you, I am very proud to have met them, and I'm very proud to call them my friends. And there's a second group, second camp, I call it. It's a passive majority of Russians. Putin. We're with you. That's the motto of those people. We are loyal. Lead us. We'll do anything. If you want us to tattoo Z on our foreheads, we will do so. Who are those people and why there are so many of them in Russia? I put them into 3 categories. The ones who get paid by the government, well, they still have a choice. Some people say they don't have a choice. They do. They have a choice to continue getting paid for the government and show loyalty and support to the government, or they still have freedom to quit. They still have freedom to change their life, okay? That's the first category. Second, the ones who are simply not so, how to say that softly, not so bright, not that bright. So they can't even put 2 and 2 together and understand what's truly happening with Russia and to Russia and what Russia has been doing to itself. And the third category is people with their lives so miserable, so useless, who found life-changing meaning in the lies that the Russian government keeps on feeding everyone. So those lies, they gave them purpose, so to speak. The fanatics, and they scare me the most. So the majority of Russian population has been showing loyalty to the state. They are loyal, all right. Oh, they are loyal. And boy, they show it. Well, how do they show it? I like to give facts and figures and numbers and so forth. Well, this is how. They allow for the Russian government to lie and to rewrite history, and they play along. They put kids into Z shapes in the kindergartens, take pictures and post them everywhere, and they're proud of them. Both parents and kindergarten teachers. They publicly show support for the war in many ways. They sign letters and they're proud in documents, and they're very proud of that. And they're sharing it with everyone who is willing to listen or to watch or to read. They sing horrible songs publicly. They make videos cursing Ukrainians, calling for violence for Ukrainians for a reason unknown, and they, make posts on social media platforms. They rat their neighbors out, the neighbors who show even slightest support of Ukraine. They rat the neighbors who aren't patriotic enough in their opinions. They rate their neighbors who criticize Russian government and ask questions. Even the neighbors have the right to do so. They hate people who have own opinions who that differ from their opinions. And they show the highest level of loyalty to Thanos. Putin. I mean, Putin, of course. The highest level of loyalty, they sacrifice their sons and husbands. They send them to the war with their own hands. And all of those people, they remain in Russia. They have not lost their jobs. They continue to receive salaries to get paid. It doesn't matter that their salaries are meager, but they still regularly receive them. And they've been given many promises from the Tsar, Putin himself. Promises. If promises could be cashed out, those people would be among the richest people in the world. It seems as if this group of people has won the battle. Remember I told you a lot of the minority, the people from the minority group, it seems like they lost the battle, but these ones, they seem like they're ruling everything now. And the loyalty is accepted by the government, and the loyalty is welcomed by the government, required by the government, and the loyalty is rewarded by the government. Oh, wait a second. Wait. Full stop here. Their loyalty is not rewarded by the government. Not really. It should be. But this would actually has happened. This is what the loyal ones get in return for showing the loyalty. This is the rewards, This is what they've gotten as the rewards for the last 13 months. Now I'll count the rewards. I'll explain what they're getting for that. Well, high inflation, a significant increase in utility bills, a significant increase in food prices, increase in taxes. They pay higher taxes now. Lowering the living standard. The loyal ones make less and less and spend more and more, taking their personal freedoms away, to speak freely, to travel abroad, to do banking, many freedoms, many freedoms. Astronomical increase in crime rate. Hardcore convicted criminals, murderers, rapists, and cannibals pardoned for taking participation in the war and returning home to more murders, rapes, and, other stuff. A huge number of disabled veterans, the fresh ones, the huge number of people with PTSD cases, a huge increase in domestic violence, many industries collapsing, and the Russian economy in general not doing well. Huge increase, unthinkable increase in budget deficit. That's gonna whiplash so bad the regular loyal ones very soon. Russia's financial system is balancing on the brink of disaster. Exodus of educated, intelligent Russians who have left Russia and moved abroad, created businesses and moved all their taxes. They basically create value in other countries, not in Russia and not for Russia. Lack of Western products in Russian stores. Lack of professionals to fill basic jobs, such as, doctors, engineers, IT specialists, etc. Judicial system destroyed. Return of mafia. Fear of Ukrainians doing counter-offensive soon. And the loyal ones, they get their ultimate reward. Remember? They show the ultimate loyalty, and for that they get ultimate reward. Coffins with their loved ones coming back from the front lines. The only real reward they've gotten so far for this loyalty showcasing is that the government still hasn't imprisoned them and still hasn't punished them. But that is only a question of time. To be fair, I must tell you that besides those two groups, a new group started growing, appeared and started growing. It's a small one, but it's a third camp, so to speak. The ones, the minority, the majority, and the ones who realized or in the process of realization that something's going terribly wrong in Russia and they have been lied to. All the promises that the Russian government made turned out to be lies. And I mean every single promise, every single word that came out of mouth of any Russian politician or government official turned out to be a lie. So this new group starts thinking, wait a second. It looks like something's strange going on. It looks like we've been lied to. Things are not going according to the plan. But, etc. But this group is still small. I hope it grows one day. Why, oh why? Why this majority rules in Russia? Who shows loyalty to the abuser? Well, I think it's a trait. Loyalty is a trait of many Russian people. Loyalty to their offenders, loyalty to czars, loyalty to the state. The worst Russian state treats Russian people, the more loyal Russian people become to the state. It's a historic happening. Unfortunately, when it comes to governance of society, any society, loyalty is a very destructive, a horrible trait to have. We are the people, which is the only right way to govern the society, self-governance. We are the people cannot be loyal to the government. That is simply a wrong concept. Citizens cannot be loyal to the state. The state must be small and serve people. People must punish the state at every slightest mistake, because if mistakes or abuse goes unpunished, abuse grows. Russia is a perfect example, People must completely destroy state, fire all the officials and create new state every so often. Because state equals abuse of power. State, almost any state, is often up to no good. And Russian state, Russian government is among the worst as far as the power abuse goes. And many Russian people, unfortunately, are loyal to Russian state. I just hope that one day something happens, something not too terrible, something that can be reversed, not a huge catastrophe, not a huge terrible tragedy, like a global tragedy, if you know what I mean. But something happens that changes the Russian loyal people, the majority. So they wake up and become normal. But you know what? The longer I'm seeing this situation, the longer this madness has been going on, the longer it goes, my hope has been vanishing. Don't ever let your government get out of hands, get out of control. always keep tabs on your government. Because if you don't, power will be abused. This is the law. If kept unchecked, if kept unsupervised, power will be abused. And if you look at Russia right now, you will see a perfect example what happens when power is abused. Folks, please, no matter where you are, don't get your government get out of hands. Don't make your own mistakes. Learn from ours. Thank you so very much. That has been my message today. I would like to invite everyone to a live stream chat. I would like to converse today. I would like you to ask questions. I'd love to answer them. Thank you. Before doing that, I would like to ask you a couple favors. Would you please consider hitting the like button and subscribe to the channel? Also, if you could, please help me spread my message, make reposts of my today's stream in your social media accounts, and join my Telegram group called Inside Konstantin's Russia. The link will be in the description below. That helps too. Thank you so very much, and I am turning the live stream chat now. As usual, please keep it clean. Just give me a second to organize things here. Yesterday's stream was very emotional. I apologize for that. It's feeling a bit better today. Lorna and Mommy, thank you so much. The Mod HQ. Bob S., Amir, Black Cat, and Harry. Thank you very much for showing up and helping me out. The usual suspects, great to see everyone. I missed you. Thank you for showing up. If you want me to see your message easier, please put it in caps and put Inside Russia after @ so it is highlighted in a large orange box. Kind of jumps right into my eyes, so to speak. So, Mr. Kaliskan, I owe you a birthday song today, a little bit later if I could. Great to see you. Thank you. Dan, Wanda, Live, Roger, Brian, James, the usual suspects. Fantastic to see you. Pie in the chair. Sam K. Janice Burgess from Reno. Hello. John Wakamatsu from Los Angeles. Hope Russia will one day have free elections. Me too. John, thank you for your support, and I hope that Russia will one day be free again. Don't know when, and I don't know how, but I also hope so. White Lightning from Baltimore. And Peter, I agree with you. Please, no smoking here. Max, howdy. Are you okay? Is there something wrong? Sense that something is weighting you down? Well, this story with Michael affected me yesterday a great deal. And there's a just general feeling, anxious feeling inside that, something's happening. Super Rosy. Glad you're feeling better, Constantine. A little better, thank you. And Larson, thank you so much. Florian, drone attack on Kremlin. That's good. A lot of people will, as usual, say, well, Konstantin is not celebrating the drone attack on the Kremlin. You know, he's no good. There's something fishy about this attack. And of course, it's been talk of the town in the last few hours. But guess what? We just learned of this attack in the afternoon in Russia. Well, here in Uzbekistan, even a little later, late afternoon. And something is up. Something is up. Let me address a couple super chats. White Lightning, thank you so much. There's a question. Hang on one second. Jason Carney, thank you so much. Huge support. Jason, I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you from me and Natasha, from both of us. Thank you, friend. White Lightning, will partisan activity like National Republican Army increase recruiting and sabotage? They just derailed the fuel train, hit power lines recently. Will partisan, not partisan. Partisan, all right, on the ground. National Republican Army, I don't know who they are. Increase recruiting and sabotage. You asking me if some Republican Army will increase recruiting and sabotage? My answer to your question is I don't know. I simply don't know. Coming back to the drone attack on the Kremlin. Suppose there is an attack carried out by the Ukrainian forces. The attack happened at night, last night. So we would have known right after. Somehow, the authorities in Russia waited almost 24 hours. Well, 16 hours, until they made it public. Very strange, very fishy right there. And then the second, let me tell you something. I liked hanging out the Red Square a lot. Back in the days when I was single, I was doing amateur photography, and I have so many pictures. This is a great historic site. I really liked. It was one of my favorite places in Moscow, the Red Square. Guess what? Professional equipment there is forbidden. Red Square and everything in the vicinities of the Kremlin is surveyed, video surveyed, 100% of the territory. And there are so many undercover secret agents dressed as tourists. They control every square meter of that place. On top of that, drones do not fly because the mobile internet does not work around the Red Square. You open maps and your telephone cannot pinpoint your direction. And that is done specifically so the drones don't fly around the Red Square. Now you answer me this question. How a drone could fly easily and hit the Kremlin? That's one question. The second, how they did not see who launched the drone because they survey every single, they monitor every single square meter. So if you answer me these questions, we'll go further. There's something strange. It smells like an inside job to me. An inside job that can be a trigger to some action executed by the Russian army or by the Russian government. So that's a little uneasy. Dan, thank you. You mentioned that Khodorkovsky is coagulating opposition outside Russia. I can't find much info on that. What should we know at this time? Well, watch my stream. I tried to tell you everything there yesterday. Of course, it was not easy for me to spit out the message, so to speak, because I was still under impression what happened to my son yesterday. But basically, Khodorkovsky is the guy who I think is dreaming about coming back to Russia and leading Russia one day. And he needs resources. And what resources? He needs his own team. And he just takes everyone who is independent opposition personality or leader, not big leaders really, I would say personality, and gets them under his wing. That's what he's doing. 2 days ago, the coalition of democratic force was born, and that's a public knowledge. Go and Google it, and you'll find it. So then, that I hope I answered your question. And another question from you. Also, what do you think about the news, a new leaked call between important men? There are a couple things, I think. First is that is a true call. That's not fabricated. Of course, in Russia, Russian propaganda was started screaming again, oh, that's artificial intelligence. Oh, that's mosquito. That's a fake. Oh, you know what? Ukrainians are trying to, spread fakes in Russia. I don't think it's fake. I think it's very, very real conversation that took place. And I think that they said everything correctly. I think that's what a lot of people think. I can't argue with the man. That's plain and simple. Jason, thank you so much for giving 5 memberships to people. Thank you from me and from 5 people. I appreciate it. And Caesars, thank you so much for your support. And hello from Prague. Every time I see someone from Poland, Czech Republic, the Baltic states, warms my heart. Thank you, friend. Crusader Damien. False flag to escalate to massive bombardment of Kyiv or a tactical nuclear strike. It's all he has left. The Duma and Medvedev are asking for it. I actually got a notification from Lorna a few minutes before I started the stream that something is cooking. I guess we'll see very soon. I hope it's not massive bombardment of Kyiv, and I hope it's not a tactical, definitely not technical, tactical nuclear strike. That'd be the end of Putin. That'd be the end of Medvedev, and then that would be the end of Duma. Medvedev did not ask for it. As far as I know, he made another crazy statement saying that now, in order for Ukraine to sign capitulation papers, Zelensky is not needed anymore, something like that. But he did not call for nuclear strike, as far as I know. Of course, I could be wrong, Well, I hope there is no escalation at this point and ever. And Damien, I think you read me right. I think that's what I think this can be, this bombardment of Kremlin, the false flag, just like you said. Thank you. Then, have you seen the Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy responding to the Russian journalist and saying that he, Kevin, supports Ukraine? This is important, I think. No, I have not seen it. Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy responding to Russians saying that he, Kevin, supports Ukraine. It's obvious that the Republican House Speaker supports Ukraine. I don't think that you will find any American politician in the Senate or Congress who supports Russia in this conflict. Why do you think this is important? Calvin, hello, my friend, and thank you so much for supporting. Not much, Constantine, today, but I know because of your faithfulness to the truth, you will soon live in a safe place, hopefully here in the US, close to the US. Calvin, thank you so much. Thank you for your support. If you are in a hard position financially, please don't even send anything. That's just your words. They're priceless. Thank you. Sean, I have friends in Russia that have Z and military families. Pressure is huge and constant. Without alternative voices, it is very difficult to stand as the lone different voice. Big hugs. Thank you so much, Sean. Thank you. I appreciate it. A mosquito. Fantastic, Look, the hell has broken loose in Russia, and I know what you're saying. I have seen. Basically, we have been discussing this issue a lot in the Breakfast Club, and every single one of us is affected by the same disease. I have yet to meet one person who didn't have anyone who left back in Russia, home that supports him or her and, has no problem with like leaving for Tashkent or outside Russia. There are always some members of the family that they're brainwashed, and boy, they pressure. And they pressure and they pressure. Hang on one second. So, Sean, at the end, we all have heads on our heads, on our shoulders, and we have brains, each one of us, and we make decisions. We choose paths. We choose the darkness or we choose the light. No matter how much they pressure us, no matter how much, they want us to change our opinions, it's up to us. And we shouldn't forget that ever. Brian Woods, thank you so much. Great message today. We might not even learn this lady's name. I will not tell her because she still has some family left in Russia. But you have seen her. If you watch my updates from the Breakfast Club, you have seen her. That's for sure. She's a good friend of mine. She's a good friend of Natasha. And she's a fantastic person. Thank you for sharing. It's small but important inspirational story for all of us who believe in democracy. I think so, Brian. I think so. And this is why I gave you her story in the very beginning, because to me, that is very inspirational. I know exactly the department of the Moscow government that she worked for. I know how many people she had, how many employees underneath her she had. I know how much money approximately she was making. That was quite a decision she made. Michael Yukon, always great topics. Thank you from Las Vegas. Thank you, Michael. Great to see your support. Thank you so much. KG1, best propaganda news is that Nikolai Patrushev, chairman of Russia's Security Council, claims that USA wants to take over Russia in case of Yellowstone volcano. This is funny. I did not see it in the news, but I'll Google it. This is fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you for making me laugh. Wanda, thank you so much. Kevin McCarthy is important because he works to control the Republicans. He is understood. Thank you. Well, Wanda and everyone, we do not discuss American politics here, but I understand your question, and it's a good question. I just don't understand why you make it feel so important. All American politicians, despite what they said publicly, they all have supported Ukraine. I don't remember any one of them supporting Russia. Okay, so to me, that's nothing extraordinary. Dan, question galore from you. Thank you. It is important because it represents a U-turn in Kevin's stance a few months ago. It must have been briefed by the U.S. intelligence since in the office. Okay, I understood. Thank you. I understand now. Leslie, many do not support Ukraine. Oh, okay. I don't want to discuss American politicians supporting or not. I have my understanding. Perhaps it's wrong, but you know what? I'll Google it. I'll double check. Rudy Kaisley, loudmouth Rudy. Hard to fathom. None of us can go home again. We must do the best we can. Thank you, Rudy, for your support. That's the highwayman. Are you alright on escalation? You know what I have secretly been fearing. Remember, I've told you 100 times that Russia and Russian government, well, basically not Russia, but the Putin, because he's the person behind all major decisions in Russia. He has brought Russia, and he has brought himself into the position of Zugzwang. And imagine you sitting and playing chess. And you're sitting and you are in this position when every single move that you take will land you in a worse situation, in a worse position. What do you do then? Well, you take the chess board and then you just, boom, you break it off the table, you know. You do some crazy, stupid thing like that. And this is what I've been secretly fearing about, that he sees that it's no good way for him to move. So he does a stupid thing. I hope he doesn't do that. Well, we'll see soon. Russian news are absolutely silent. I'm looking at the Russian news right now live, and what I'm seeing is the news as usual. You know, nothing new except for news number one. Prigozhin, Yevgeny Prigozhin, the owner of Wagner Group, just announced of de facto the beginning of Ukraine counteroffensive. And if I click on the news, that's his opinion. He thinks that the armed forces of Ukraine have already started, you know, but we will see in a few days. We can all see it in a few days and so forth. There's just nothing, there's no breaking news, you know, so no breaking news whatsoever. And if I go to other sites that are not Russian propaganda, but Russian media from abroad of Russia, there are news about shelling Kherson, but that's not the breaking news right now. I heard about it in the morning. And nothing else. Vladimir Zelensky just announced that it wasn't the Ukrainians. They're not attacking Putin, neither Putin nor Moscow. And I believe him. I believe him, you know. Carson Larrymore, thank you so much. Asking Russian society to become a truly democratic nation is like asking a stone to become water. I don't know what to tell you, how to answer. Um, Thank you for support, and I don't think my comment is needed here. It hurts me because I am Russian. There is truth in your words, some truth at least, and it hurts me, and I don't know what to say. Looking for questions in caps. George, war, the war games. My heart bleeds for you, my friend. Thank you for what you're doing. Said biker dude, aka George C. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USA. Thank you so much, George. Thank you. I received your other message. Thank you very much. Elsha, listen to McCarthy's answer to a question of a Russian journalist. I will definitely Google it. You've sparked my interest. Thank you. Sommerland, McCarthy also said it is wrong that Russia is doing in Ukraine and should leave Ukraine and stop the war. No kidding, genius, you know. What else is new? We kind of been saying it for the past 14 months. Loudmouth Rudy, if heads have started rolling, which ones may assume power in the vacuum? Do I understand the question right? Who is there to assume the power in the vacuum if the current ones are gone? No one. That's one of the problems that Russia has. The opposition is in exile, and it's not certain that the opposition will be welcomed with arms wide open by regular Russians. They don't even know, a lot of them don't know that the opposition exists. And, you know, if we're talking about Russian majority of people who are not so bright, oh, they hate Khodorkovsky, the leader of current opposition. They absolutely despise him because he represents everything they don't like. He's rich, he's successful, he's smart, he's well outspoken. He's everything they couldn't reach. Okay, and I don't simply know what political future awaits Khodorkovsky in Russia. Then the drone could be counter government sabotage. Then you see the drone didn't do much damage at all. I think if the drone hit a different target, the damage could have been much worse. But this definitely was a specially carried out operation. It's hard to say by who and with what purpose, Like I said, there are speculations. There's something fishy about that. That's as far as I can say. Don't really like mosquitoes. I'm sorry. Leop, Leopsan. What about Kasparov? Could he become a leader? Oh my gosh. Kasparov just made such a grave mistake that I think buried his political career. There is a Russian reporter. His name is Dude, and he's a very young guy, and he's extremely popular. He interviews very interesting people. He's a great interviewer, and his interviews are like awaited by people. It's like a show. Interviews are very long, hour plus usually. And he just interviewed Kasparov. Oh my gosh, Kasparov just shot himself in both legs, both feet. My personal opinion of Kasparov, I mean, the guy is smart, chess smart, but I think he's definitely not cut to be a leader. He's better Khodorkovsky than Kasparov, you know. No. Short answer is no. No, no, and no. Kasparov should stay away from politics as far as possible. Woody Raster, is Putin crazy enough to feign an attack on his person to trigger a tactical nuclear strike? I wish I knew, and I hope he's not. Harry Potter, howdy howdy. Send the mosquitoes to the Kremlin. I think these are the, special war mosquitoes. Cooked up in the labs, biolabs in Ukraine. Ferrari guy, since you like economics, you might enjoy Thomas Sowell TV YouTube videos on Russian economic history. Uh, on Russian economic history. Well, I know Russian economic history quite well. But you know what? Don't have much time these days, but I will check it out. Thank you. To photography, howdy, friend. Long time no see. Thank you for coming back. Do you think that it's a Ukrainian drone or from the opposite of Russia? Look, I already explained this question. I answered this question in details. Go back to the beginning of this discussion, about minute 30 or so, and you will find my answer. Lisa Kumrian, you can't go home again because home isn't there anymore. Always admired Kasparov. He's half Armenian, but no. Um, I am sorry, Kasparov's not half Armenian. He is Azerbaijan. He's a Azeri. Azerbaijan. Anyway, how's this called? It's very opposite of Armenian. Yeah, he's well, his real name is Weinstein, and he was born in Baku, Azerbaijan, and that's where he lived. And then he was on the patronage of Azerbaijan leaders, even in the USSR. So he's far from Armenian. He became a chess champion in 1985. I actually remembered that. I was 9 years old. I was following. I was playing chess, not professionally, not but like my I used to spend lots of time with my grandfather, and he was an avid fan of chess, and we used to play with him all the time. And we were watching this fight between Garry Kasparov and Anatoly Karpov, who was epic. Two good champions. Let me tell you something. I remember Kasparov jumping up and down. The young guy, he won. Gary Weinstein, Gary Weinstein, not Kasparov. I'm sorry, not Armenian. Peter Klomp, thank you. Sending you my love from Uzbekistan. Thank you. Koshkin Dom, Jewish father and Armenian mother, says Wikipedia. But he was, as far as I understand, he was 100% Azerbaijani, born and raised in Baku, and he was on the patronage of Gaydar Aliyev all the time. Marcus, thank you so much. That's exactly what I said. Victor, so sad you censored comments. I'm sorry, I don't censor anything. What comments do you think that I censored? The mods, they delete some comments, but they keep the chat clean, and they never delete like normal comments. Only if the comments break the rule, and basically the biggest rule here is be decent. Don't discuss American politics, and that's pretty much it. Anti-emo. Hi, Constant. Do you see any other country turning into Russia? Oh, you know what? I am so preoccupied with what's happening in Russia. I really don't know. I don't have time to watch other countries. Perhaps some are turning to Russia, perhaps not. I simply don't know. Then, do you think the Turkish election can have an impact on Russia and Ukraine? Absolutely. Absolutely. It will have. It not can have. It will have a huge impact. What I understand right now is current president, the incumbent, is not doing well at all. There are rumors that, something happened to him a few days ago live on television when he was making a speech. And he basically had to make a pause, and then he returned. But as he was talking, he shut up. And a commentator was looking in fear, in terror, and the commentator said, "Oh my God!" And they basically cut the program. So something terrible must have happened to Erdogan, and chances are he will not win this upcoming election if he's still able to participate as a candidate. And what happens if his opponent wins? Opponent is pro-Western. He's gonna cut all the ties with Russia immediately, and Russia, basically the only country that speaks to Russia and then kind of mediates between the West and Russia, is Turkey. Russia's gonna lose that. And that's it. Voila. Done and done. Hang on one second. So not only it will have a huge impact. And if Erdogan is back, which I doubt he will be, but we'll see. A week left, then we'll see what happens. Amir has given gift of sponsorship to 5 people. Thank you so much, Amir. Fantastic to see you. Crusader Damien, my 10-year-old also has questions about the war, and I shield him from graphic material, but not from what's going on and why we're supporting Ukraine. Great citizens start as great children like ours. Well, Damien, there is a difference between a 6-year-old and a 10-year-old. When this whole thing started, Michael was 5. Um, 5.5. He's been growing, and at 5.5, he didn't really understand much of what was going on. He was just learning. And now he understands much more, and it was a huge surprise for me that when he told me that he understands everything. And we carry conversation, and he does. He does understand everything. There's so much that has gone on since yesterday, but I want to tell you this, that he's definitely has support from his daddy and mama and 2 smart people, loving people, and you can trust me, we'll do everything we can to balance shielding him and telling him what's going on, and you know telling him the truth, but in a way that a 6-year-old can actually take it and analyze. So now we know what's going on with him. That is an eye opener, and we will do our best. There are tools how to deal with that. It's just knowing is huge. So we will manage. We will we will take care of the kid. Dave Strains, thank you for sending me email. I watched the movie about your mom. What a story! It definitely very inspirational to me. Thank you so much. Samiland, did the president of Uzbekistan change the law so he will be the president for 19 years? President of Uzbekistan did not change anything. The referendum took place 2 days ago, 3 days ago, and the constitution of Uzbekistan was changed as a result of this referendum, nationwide referendum. And yes, the president can, well, if he wants to, he can run for 2 more terms, and that would place him into the office, in theory, until 2040. A lot of people have been asking me why I don't want to stay in Uzbekistan for good, because such a wonderful country. Let me tell you something. I've seen this before. I heard that music before, and not too long ago, very recently, when the constitution is changed and the president can go for 175 and a half years, and things like that, and not the best music, not to our liking. We have a vaccine against that music. Whew. Julia, what does it take to be in green? Uh, You have to be a sponsor of the channel. That's what it takes. Out to the hospital soon. Hubby had a colonoscopy. Lang, look, good luck to you guys. My dad went through that. Not the most pleasant procedure, but needed. Joe's Rames, don't even get me started on that, okay? That's Finland is allowing US military bases in their country according to the plan. I know. Everyone in Russia is. They are either furious or they just laughing. Like I'm laughing, like you're laughing. Because, I mean, it's really funny if you think about it. But those who truly believe that it's the evil West idea and, this Russia is fighting proxy war with the West, led by the USA and then so forth, they're really angry. How can they? Oh, of course they can't. They can't expand NATO right next to Russia's borders. They cannot. Oh, yes, they can. Constantine's nose is doing a different stream. That's partially true. Pentium 100 megahertz. My grandma was 9 when Lithuania was occupied by the USSR in 1940. She had some stories to tell about the horrors of the war. I know. Funny thing is, in the USSR, we didn't even know that the country occupied Lithuania until the truth came out in 1991. I remember I was shaken. I said, what? This is just insane, my friends, I think I'm gonna wrap it up today. We had birthdays of 3 people: Maria Billet, Scott Nesbitt, and Mr. Y. Kaliskin. But I'm sorry. Can I sing tomorrow? Because simply not in the great mood to do that. I invite everyone to pray. Let's finish the stream by sending good wishes to people and praying and sending prayers. Thank you so much. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so much for giving us this day. Thank you for putting food on our tables and giving us roofs over our heads. Thank you for surrounding with people who we love and who love us. Please help our children, keep them healthy and safe, and give us wisdom to keep the skies above their heads peaceful and raise them in a way that when they grow and become adults, they will make this world a better place, more peaceful place, and they will never fight in any wars. Dear Lord, please help stop the bloodshed in Ukraine, protect Ukraine from all attacks, send you angels to protect every single Ukrainian and keep every Ukrainian away from harm's way. Please reach out and touch the hearts and souls of people who are making decisions to attack Ukraine and to continue the bloodshed. Reach out and touch the hearts and souls so they will wake up from this devilish sleep they've been sleeping, and they will make the decision to stop the bloodshed. Help every single person who has been affected, answer their prayers and make their wishes come true, please. Please help my country, Russia, send the army with strongest angels with sharper swords to get led by Saint Michael to get rid of the demons that have hijacked my country and been running it. Have angels govern Russia. Have angels make Russia good, peaceful, and respected and loved by others. Dear Lord, please do not allow for escalation of this horrible conflict. Put sense, logic, and common sense into the heads of people responsible for making and executing decisions. Please send your angels and so they make sure that there's no more escalation of this horrible war. Dear Lord, please send safe travels to everyone traveling. Please help everyone who's asking for asylum, especially families. Please help those who are hungry, jobless, homeless, sick, having problems with their faith, depressed, with low self-esteem. Please reach out and fill those people's hearts with love and shine your heavenly light upon them. Thank you. Send them recovery and send them all the best so they feel good about themselves again and they have a chance to recover and reclaim their lives back. Please give us all peaceful skies above our heads, about our heads. Thank you so much for bringing us all into this community. Thank you for allowing us to pray together. Thank you for everyone who's praying along with me right now. Please help them, answer their prayers, and make their wishes come true. I have some people who would like to ask for help for. There are Wayne, Shirley, Debbie, Jen Allen, Finola, Lars Henrik, and Lars Henrik's mother, Amanda, her roommate, the highwayman, Assie from the Scottish Isles, Outlander and family, Chori's family, and David Porter and family. Lars, Susan Marshall, Beulah, Buzz Simon, Lazarus, Alvin's sister, Teresa D., Terry Carter, Joe and Lee McMahon, Meta Spencer, Deanna F., Bree's friend, Caroline, Amanda, Albina Fell, Michael Yukon, Pamela J., Lindsay, Joel, Leif, Karin Vasseur, Larry, Yelena, Natasha, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Bonnie, Galina, Igor, Karen, Michael Milkevitz, Paul Binns, Richard, Dirk Misler, Hannah and her children, Richard Burris, Angelic at Life, and Scan family's grandson, Barb, Randolph, Harry's family, Verlinda's niece, Ian James, Doug, King Nero, Gaby Hyman, Donald, Deborah, Lisa's son, Jade, Kaltenberg, Allison Dave Moyers, Maureen M., and her sister, Mr. Hanson, Ashley and family, Mr. Dean Spooner and his church called Our Savior Lutheran Church, Lisa Cumrian, Jacob, Adam Oliver, Amy, Kyle's wife, Treasure, Maggie, Vladislav and Sergey, Susie Myler, Gina, Wayfarer, EMS paramedic, Karen, Lori Miles' husband, Sherry, Layla, Philip's mother, Thomas Fallon, his mother, Rod, Sandra's husband, uh, Greg, Jim and Shirley Hall, Delaney and two daughters, Ann Larson, her family and daughter Hannah, Florentina, Caroline Raynor, Patty L., Sherry Morin, Mag's family, CKOC, Brian Wilkes, Lise Dumbrell, Matthias, Ripted, daughter of Aspen English, Ruth, Paul, Susan, Rudy Kaisley, Darla, Bib, White Lightning, Paula McDonald, George Ruberty, Dave Strains, Pam. I would also like to ask for special children. They are Cadence, Sebastian, Maverick, Karen Vassar's niece, Theo, Maudie, and Ansley. Please send recovery. Um, give them good health and their family strength, and help all the children who are not feeling well, who are sick. Please send them recovery, all of them. Also asking for children of Ukraine who have been affected by this terrible tragedy, and children of Russia who also have been affected. Please help them the way you know how to help. Dear Lord, thank you so much. Thank you for giving us everything. Please forgive us our sins. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, amen. My friends, thank you so much for your support. You are absolutely awesome and you rock. You can count on me showing up every day. Some people were emailing me after the stream yesterday saying, hey, don't give up. Oh, I will not give up. I will definitely not give up. You can count me on that. So tomorrow, another message, another stream. Hopefully, no escalation. I'll pray for that too. And I invite you to pray separately, independently. When you pray, go to bed by yourself about no escalation. Matti Hapanin, thank you so much. Thank you, my appreciation. My friends, you are absolutely awesome and you rock. And before I go, usual, I would like to invite everyone to say along with me, Carthago delende est.